Welcome to Tier 3 of the Grounded Iceberg. I apologize about the late upload, but I won't cloud the intro with all that stuff. I'll go more in depth at the end of the video. I love you all. Let's go ahead and get started. Neighbors throw food. I couldn't find anything on this, but I can only speculate that this is a theory that says all the giant food found in the yard could be from the neighbors throwing it into the yard, which could make sense since the yard is very overgrown and it's obvious that the yard has been neglected. There's several large food items in the yard that could support this theory, but a point can be made for either side, such as the previous owner had thrown food around the yard while the neglect was taking place, or maybe the food from the trash had migrated around the yard. Custom-made obtainable achievements. I believe this relates to the custom game mode, but I could be wrong. Custom-made achievements could have been a feature earlier in the game's release, but I couldn't find anyone talking about this feature being patched out or added in the first place. All I could find is that while using custom game modes, achievements may be disabled, but up to a certain difficulty level, the achievements can still work. While making a custom map, achievements will be disabled. Beehive. The Beehive was supposedly a pre-1.0 release location. The bees would be aggressive if you approached the hive, however nowadays they are aggressive if approached nonetheless. So part of me wants to say that the AI from the pre-1.0 release may still be present, but many people on Reddit did talk about there being a Beehive pre-1.0 release. I'm not sure why they removed this. It could have been a huge mess trying to implement it with other features in the game. Game development is hard. Different credits music. There seems to be two different versions of the credit music when selecting credits in the main menu and actually beating the game. There's also been different versions of the end credit music throughout the updates, but other than that, this is all I can really find on this. Ant Queen boss fight. Opposed to the Termite King, the Ant Queens are completely docile. The game asks you if you want to poison or just feed the Ant Queen. However, there is no boss fight for choosing the wrong option. People on Reddit have discussed why the devs have never implemented this. The community expected Ant Queens to be bosses before the 1.0 update, but this didn't end up coming to the game. The discussion on Reddit speaks about how the room the Ant Queens are in are very small and the Ant Queens are very large, making it very hard to implement an actually impressive and difficult boss fight instead of it being so linear. She was planned to be added in update 1.4 as a boss needed to unlock New Game Plus, but was repurposed as an interactive creature as well as two other variants for the other Ant factions. Big Grub. As stated on the wiki, quote, the Big Grub is a much larger variant of the basic Grub that was only seen via being spawned in with external cheats. It would be stuck hovering in the air and would oddly not burrow. It would have also gotten angry at the player, but was incapable of attacking. It also dropped much larger amounts of Grub loot than the normal variant. It is unknown what it would have done if it was added. End quote. This bug was supposed to be an angry variant of the Grub, and it was later removed with no information on what this was going to be. My guess is that at times a bigger, angrier Grub would come out of the ground instead of its defenseless counterpart. BURG.L used to be an ASL terminal. I couldn't find anything on this on the wiki, nor did anyone say anything about it on Reddit or any other forum sites. But I can imagine that in earlier versions of the game, BURG.L might have been combined with the ASL terminal. Maybe BURG.L was just supposed to be an artificial intelligence inside the ASL terminal. No Wasp Queen / Smechtor music. I'm not sure what this could be referring to, but maybe this entry is out of date due to these bosses having music in the current version. The Wasp Queen shares boss music with the Orchid Mantis, and Smechtor shares boss music with the Assistant Manager. Old Armor Glue. This was a feature that was in the game but later removed. This glue was used in the crafting of armor. I think this would have been great on harder difficulties, but I have no idea, because I stay on a lower difficulty, because this armor glue was also used to repair armor pieces, but this was replaced by berry leather and other components, depending on the armor variant. Mantis Pollen Attack. Supposedly in older versions of the game, this was a part of the Mantis boss fight. It would release a pollen attack that would activate in its second phase. It spawned 3 pollen shots after its scream that would fly around the arena. These clouds would cause multiple debuffs. I guess this was removed because it had made the boss fight too hard and it was removed to make it easier. Berry Monster. The berry monster was apparently nothing special. It was just something the developers added inside the secret lab to show what Tully was up to. This would kind of be scary if you could come across it in the wild. Apparently this berry monster was in a different position in a previous update. Now you have to no clip to see it. Dan Bull. Dan Bull is a YouTuber that features parody songs and animations on his YouTube channel. He released songs about Grounded, which I can only speculate was used as advertising for the game's release. Pretty cool. Lizard. The lizard was an unimplemented / removed creature that was supposed to be a boss fight. This lizard is enormous and was pretty Lovecraftian with its art style. It looks like something out of Subnautica, and I'm not sure what led the developers to remove this because it was really fleshed out and had a lot of detail. It would have burrowed out of a pit in the middle of the arena, and that's where the lizard would engage the player. At different health percentages, the lizard would get different buffs throughout the boss fight. It would also burrow underground and spawn 2 ant lions every time it would burrow throughout the fight. Tripwire Bomb. The Tripwire Bomb was a removed item that would cost 1 silk rope and 2 ant parts. I'm not sure if this is or isn't still in the game. I can still find it on the removed section of the Grounded's wiki. This would be a standalone item that would have 2 bombs placed with it. Soldier Ant Veteran. Apparently this was an ant that was in the game's files but was never added. Buttered Chutters did a video on bugs that were never added but are still in the game's files. They could have guarded the Ant Queen, but who knows. Shiny Ant Head. I couldn't find much on this either, but according to Mutter Chutters again on YouTube, there's a shiny ant variant in the game's files. This could have been an ant variant that would wander around the backyard, but I speculate developers realized we already have ants. So much ants.
I also found a creature card in a folder for something known as a shiny ant. Now this isn't anything to do with a card like a gold shiny ant card because I can spawn it in. It goes into my inventory as a normal looking ant head, but with the writing saying shiny ant. So does this mean that we will see shiny ants running around the garden? Will they be fast like the scarab or will they be tougher than the regular one?
Web Clippers. These tier 1 clippers were added to the playground game mode but never added to the main story survival game mode. When used, it would cause the player to do double damage against spiderwebs, web sacks, and black widow web sacks. Rotten Black Ant Shovel. I can only find one reference of this entry on Reddit. Someone on the Grounded Reddit was showing off the rotten items that they had achieved on their save. They asked if anyone could verify if they had gotten everything, and a user added Rotten Black Ant Shovel. When they asked where it is, there was no response. No idea if this was added or removed, but who knows. Potato Chef on Bookcover. I believe this was speculation relating to Adam Brennick's book. He released it, but also quoted on Twitter that there was a small Easter egg in Grounded's latest update. So maybe there was a correlation between the two, but I'm not sure. If anybody knows in the comments, please let me know. And that's the end of Tier 3 of the Grounded Iceberg. Thank you so much for watching. If you want more of these videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave notifications on for the next upload. I apologize for the late upload. Life has gotten hectic these past few days, but I'm still working hard to get you guys these videos. I love you all, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.